Oh, right. But a social movement organization may only make up a part of a particular social movement. So when we talk about social movement, it's a whole big thing that aiming for something bigger. A social movement organization is how some elements of that movement institutionalize themselves and formalize themselves in an organizations. All right. Until this, what do you call this slide? Any comments or questions? No. All right. I will proceed. So if we aim to see what are the aspects of social movements, more or less we can divide it into three elements. One is the group. They emphasize on collaboration and interaction between group and the individuals in the groups. And then we can also find a society there, the society that bring about change for common good. So this is what is happening in each of the area. So at the individual aspect, we can see the development of personal qualities, self-awareness, and personal values that might influence the movement. So we have three what you call that aspects or layers: at the individual level, at the group level, and at the society level. Each has different kind of things that people are usually doing in a social movement. So we have also some, I can't remember where I took this from, but can't really see it. Anyway. So types of social movement. Social movement can be categorized based on one, how who is the movement attempting to change. So and then second is how much change is being advocated. So if we divide into this what you call that axis, we can see this being reflected here. How much change? Is it limited? Is it a radical change? Or who is changed? Is it everyone? Or is it specific individuals that you would like to have the change in? So in between these boxes of these rooms, you can see when you want to change, when the target for change is specific individuals, and you have limited change, unit alternative social movement, or you can actually try to see this like reformative social movements takes place if you aim for the change for everyone, and the change is limited. But if you want the change to be radical and you're aiming for everyone to be in the change, and then what you have is a revolutionary social movement. So you see here different types of social movements based on how much change do you want and who is to be changed that you're targeting. Okay. And then here's some stages of social movements. I'm pointing this to you not to say that this is the formula for any social movements, but this is like a general sense of how social movements are usually developed. Of course, we can move some things around here, but more or less this is what is taking place for the social movements. All right, so we can see here the emergence and the coalesce, and then the bureaucratizing of the social movement. Here you can see how much success does it have, the failure, and the cooptations, repressions that it has, whether you go mainstreaming of it and then declining. At one stage, So you see, in the first slide, I mentioned one of the characteristics is usually the social movement has a time span. So here, when you have this, there is always not, well, usually has time when the social movement is declining. And then at one stage, it's just, well, not all of it, but in some cases, the social movement stops somewhere. Okay. Of course, we can discuss about this later, but also when you do your project group, your group project, you might have different explanations or different opinions whether a social movement is sustained or it's usually have a specific or limited in a sense that it has some period of time. All right, so we have heard this many times about new social movement or old social movement. So social movements are usually, it's incorrect. It's not really correct 100%, but some people distinguish between the old social movement and new social movement. So the old social movement, if I may make it in a succinct way, is I mean, most of the 19th century movement fought for specific special groups, such as the working class, the peasants, whites, aristocrats, Protestants, men, etc. And they were usually centered on some materialistic goals, like, for example, improving the standard of living, or, for example, the political autonomy of the working class. So this is a you may say some characters of the old social movements, which is quite different with the new social movement, which emerged in the 1970s onwards, where the movements became dominant from the second half of the 20th century, like the feminist movement, the environmental movements, free software movement, gay rights movement, peace movements, anti-nuclear movements, etc. Sometimes they are known as new social movements. So they've moved beyond the materialistic purpose, like goals here. Remember, the old social movements are merely aiming for the materialistic goals, like improving standard living or things like that. But in the new social movement, it's non-materialistic in a way that it is a need for, like, you can't really value that with any material goods. So they are usually centered around issues that go beyond but are not separate from class. And again, we can always discuss this boundaries of definitions of new social movements. And you may find more examples of it in your own project later in this class. So, this is kind of like ideal types of old and new social movements. I mean, if you want to differentiate between the two and see some characteristics of the two types of movements in sense of principal objective, what are the objectives, and then the opponent or threat, the type of movements, key issues in each of the movement, the organization of the movements, tactics used by each of the movements, the orientation to international sphere, approach to democracy, approach to citizenship, and main social base. So these are some characteristics that we can try to adopt if we want to distinguish between the old and new social movement. All right, so before I continue, I'd like to check if anyone is, what you call that, ketinggalan, lagging behind, and if you have any burning issues or questions you'd like to ask. Anyone? Why is it only 81 people in the room? I thought the class is big. Any idea where the rest of the class went? Because it's already 1 minute past 4. I thought we have like 100 something, no? How many people in our class? Hello? Anyone? Hello?
Who can I ask a question?
Sure, Amelia.
To ask about the difference between
You're I can't really hear you, Amelia.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sure.
Or should
Go
I
on.
write it down on chat?
No. Continue.
Or here. I want to ask about the difference between social movements and political movements.
Now I'm losing you. Okay, you might want to chat. Write it down in chat.
Yes.
Oh, there's a chat here. Selamat sore, Ibu. Mohon bantuannya menghentikan rekaman Zoom setelah Ibu selesai. Okay, I think this is from Rihanna. All right. Okay, other than Amelia, anyone else? Question? Comments? Oh, by the way, how many of you are also in the other class for the keamanan, politik keamanan class? How many of you in the other class should also attend the other class? Nobody? I remember someone was raising this issue. This morning. How many of you? So perhaps other than the 81 students, they are all in the other class, is it? Ketua kelas, coordinators, do you know information about this? Hello. Me, Kartinia. Kartinia, can you mute off? Kartinia. Okay. It's quite frustrating actually when you ask questions and nobody responds to you. All right, so I presume there's no question. Okay, we're still waiting for a question from Amelia. Okay. Amelia, have you finished typing in chat? There you go. I want to ask about the difference between social movement and political movement. I know when it comes to goals and proposals, both are entirely different. But I want to ask about RUU PKS demonstration. Is that social movement or political movement? Who in this class thinks that social movement is different from political movements? Anyone in the class? Or anyone can respond to Amelia's question? Is political movement social movement? Is social movement political movement? Anyone? Hello?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Andrew.
I think political movement is one part of the social movement. And then I mean political movement and social movement is one is one group of of studying,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then social movement and political movement is not different, but it's same in one group.
Hmm. So you're saying that basically they both are the same, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. We'll see. I will continue my slides, and then hopefully at one point we can reach to some conclusion about that, whether social movement is political movement or not. Okay. Thank you, Andrew and Amelia. Let's see. I mean, you two can check whether we can come to some conclusion on that. Okay. So I think I'll skip this one. Wait, 4 sets of questions. Okay, so Della Porta and Diani in their books mention that social movements set 4 questions in their process. One is the relationship between structural change and transformations in patterns of social conflict. The second is the role of cultural representations in social conflicts. And the third one is the process through which values, interests, and ideas get turned into collective action. And the last one is how a certain social, political, and cultural context affects social movements, chances of success, and the forms they take. So I think I'll skip this. Very much interested to go on the contentious politics, because this is what you guys have been reviewing in your task. And then this, I think, should lead us to some conclusion of whether social movement is political movement. Okay, so when we talk about social movements, in many ways, experts have been addressing it as contentious politics. So contentious politics is a term coined by Charles Tilly in a series of works that he began in the 70s. So it's quite classical now, but the concept is still being adopted until today. And it is encompasses social movement, but extends to a wider range of conflictual phenomena. So it includes strike waves, civil wars, revolutions, and insurgencies. It shifts the focus from the subjects and objects of contention to the mechanism that connect them to each other and to broader institution and actors. So I've read some of your works last night. Each of you have a different way of translating contentious politics into Bahasa. Okay, if I call some names, can you share with me how would you interpret or translate contentious politics into Bahasa? Bilal, how do you translate contentious politics?
Contentious
Because
politics in bahasa, according to me, is politik pertikaian,
politik
perseteruan.
perseturan. Okay,
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Uh,
Next, I'd like to hear from Resnu Ferdianto. Resnu, are you here? Okay, Resnu is not here, but the name is there. So I wonder who's there's a student here who does not put their names on it. So could you please write your name so that we can identify you? Who's that? With a Can anyone here identify who's the name, who's the person without name there in our class here? Okay, since it is unidentifiable, so I will remove the name, remove the person, right? And then I hope next time everyone's really give some appreciation to this class, that each of us wants to know each other better every class. Okay, so next I'd like to hear from Husada. Husada,
Yes, ma'am.
hey, how do you translate contentious politics, Husada?
In my opinion, consensus politik is in bahasa is politik pertikaian atau politik kontroversial.
Politik kontroversial. Okay, right. Thank you. Hafsah, Hafsah Mawadah.
Yes,
Hafsah?
ma'am.
Okay, how do you translate contentious politics?
I think contentious politics in bahasa is pertikaian politik atau perdebatan politik.
Atau apa?
Perdebatan politik.
Perdebatan politik atau politik perdebatan?
Politik perdebatan. Mirip-mirip pertikaian politik, politik perdebatan politik. Ma'am.
Perdebatan politik atau politik perdebatan? Pertikaian
Perdebatan
politik
politik.
atau politik pertikaian?
Pertikaian politik.
Politics of contention. Ya kan? Artinya politics of contention dong. Bukan contentious politics. Perdebatan politik misalnya capres-capres waktu kemarin 2019. Is that contentious politics atau perdebatan politik atau politik perdebatan?
Politik perdebatan.
Perdebatan politik, say. Oke, contentious politics itu dijelaskan, jangan pakai logika bahasa Indonesia, use English logic. Jadi ini adalah politik contentious. Persoalannya adalah how do you translate contentious? Politik perseteruan tadi, politik perdebatan tadi ada, politik what's the other one? Controversial, whatever. And then who else? Because I saw some papers use quite uncommon translation. Novero. Novero, how do you translate contentious politics?
In my opinion, I'm translate contentious politik as politik pertentangan atau politik kontroversial gitu.
Okay, good, thank you. There's another one, can't remember who, but it used the incorrect one. Damar, how do you translate contentious politics? Damar? Dar? We moved you out, okay? Damar? Damar Yanuarta, twice. Damar Yanuarta, 3 times, okay. Okay. Rima Aulia. Rima Aulia is not here. Rima tidak ada. Rima Aulia 1. Rima Aulia 2. Rima Aulia 3. Oke, tidak ada. Alright.
Ma'am, halo Bu.
Yes.
Can I give my opinion
Sure.
about
Who's
contentious
speaking?
politics?
Sorry, I can't see you. Harfian.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, Harfian. Harfian, yeah.
Okay, Bu. Sorry.
Harfian.
My
Contentious politics.
opinion about contentious politik in bahasa ya, Bu ya.
Ya.
Menurut saya contentious politik ini politik yang kontroversial, bahasa lainnya politik pertikaian, politik perseteruan. Jadi contentious politik dalam opini saya itu politik yang mengarah ke dalam sebuah konflik dalam kelas di masyarakat sih, Bu, menurut saya. Secara simpel dan mudahnya seperti itu sih, Bu. Kalau
Oke.
yang saya baca dan saya tangkap dari review yang saya buat, gitu sih, Bu. Thank you ya, Bu.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So, okay, if we go on, perhaps we can find some definitions on that. Contentious politics involves interactions in which actors make claims bearing on other actors' interests, leading to coordinated efforts on behalf of shared interests or programs in which governments are involved as targets, initiators of claims, or third parties. So if we conclude from here, and the next one is contentious politics that brings together three familiar features of social life: contention, collective action, and politics. So if we see the first lines here, contentious politics involves interactions in which actors make claims. So the keywords there, it involves interactions, of course, and the actors make claims bearing on other actors' interests. Okay. And of course, it is important also to note that it leads to coordinated efforts on behalf of shared interests. So your interest, my interest, and then it became shared interests, and then it is programmed. And then the other, that's key important words. But then others, you can see here, the government are involved as targets. Yeah, so it in a way it oppose, or it puts the government as a vis-a-vis or opposed to the interest of those who claimed it as shared interest. Initiators of claims or third parties. So the government are involved as third parties. So if you define contentious politics as politik perseteruan, menurut saya lebih pas daripada ada beberapa orang yang menulis contentious politics itu, saya lupa ya. I'll have to check again, but I know some of you translate imprecisely, ya, contentious politics. Lebih tepat, memang contentious politics, we define it or we translate it into politik perseteruan atau politik pertentangan, or intinya, or the essence of it is that you contend, menentang. Ada contender kan ya, yang menentang. So contend is menentang. Menentang apa? Menentang policy, menentang government policies or government programs, or not really government, can also be a kind of like other parties, third parties that have power, that which has the power that controls or has the ability to control larger part of society, or controls the political life in which you are living in, and that includes also private sectors or corporates, etc. Okay, guys, can we have a break for 1 minute, please? Boleh ya, 1 menit sebentar ya?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Mana ini juga lebih turun kali ini. Ini masih belum juga, tapi para petugas mana aslinya sudah dibenerin sama Mbak ya. Ini udah, ini hasil save. Ini sudah. Nah, bukannya kok begini? Nih. Oke. Terus ini yang Pak terkait udah selesai ya. Ini boleh. Oke. Ini apa? Ini yang tentang Arab sih. Ke saya sudah. Ke busa sudah, Mbak. Boleh ke busa. Ya. Dengan tentang narasumber kegiatan di Timur. Ini tanggal berapa? Ini tanggal 23. 3 Agustus. Oke. Terus yang ini apa? Skep itu narasumber Bu. Ini yang tadi. Pak Adi. Tanggal besok. Adi kan udah lewat. Untuk tanggal besok Bu. Namanya sama Adi Kurniawan. Oke. Ya kan? Tanggal Selasa besok. Terus ini juga narasumber dari Selasa juga Pak Erman terus lagi. Nah, ini juga tanggal 24 Desember. Yang isu kesehatan juga. Yang buat itu dekan-dekan udah. Ini apa ya? Ini para dekan. Ya. Oke, kasih Mbak. Okay. I forgot to mute. Sorry. Maaf ya. Oke, kita lanjut. Sampai di mana tadi? Sampai di mana tadi? Remind me again. Halo? Tadi sampai di mana ya?
Contentious politics is politik perseteruan, Bu, sampai situ.
Okay. So we're still defining contentious politics ya. Ya, jadi these definitions have some keywords that you might want to take note when you define what contentious politics is. So more from there, Atero and Tilly in their books also identify features, familiar features of this contentious politics. So contentious politics has 3 things in it. One is contention, second is collective action, and third is politics. So hold on a second. More or less, it will look like this. So 3 things, 3 characters that it has. So it has the elements of contention, perseteruan, ya, atau pertentangan. It has the elements of politics. We don't need to go on detail to define what politics is. You've studied that, you've learned that in first semester of your study here in Prodi Politik. And then it has the elements of collective actions. So yes, if Amelia was asking whether social movement is political movements, the short answer can be yes, because as you see here, one of the characteristics of social movement that it has the elements of politics. Yeah, Amelia. I think in many ways, yes, social movement is political in a way that it is related to politics. Amelia?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you get that?
Yes, I get that. Thank you for answering.
But it's not only political movements. It has to have other aspects, contention, and also the other aspect is collective action, because you cannot abandon this. If a movement has the elements of politics and contention, but no collective actions, then we cannot be simplify that into or categorize that as political movement or social movement. Okay, it has to have these elements. Okay, if it is a collective action, but it doesn't have the elements of politics, then it will not define as social movement as well. Also, if it has some politics elements there and collective actions, but no contention or no one contending anything on the issues, then it is doubtful that it is part of the social movement. So this is a very easy way when you use the framework by Taro and Tilly. I think this is the easiest way to define or to identify whether a movement is a social movement or not. If it has these contentious politics elements, then you can be assured that it is a social movement. So let's go to each one by one. Contention. The first one is contention. Contention here refers to making claims that bear on someone else's interests, right? So some people, some groups have resentment on some issues, and then you make claims on that issues bearing on someone else's, the other people's interest. In everyday life, contention ranges from small matters such as which television shows we should watch tonight to bigger questions such as whether your sister Sue should marry the man she is dating. So this is the example I took from the book. So it's ranged from small things like daily things to big, more fundamental issues. So it also takes place in football matches, rival advertising campaigns, and struggles between canton curious patients and irritable doctors. So contention, it means very simple thing, but can also be some very substantial issues. In the simplest version of contentions, one party makes claims on another. The parties are often persons, but one or the other can also be a group or even an institution. You can make a claim on your school or file a claim on the government for unemployment benefits. In the elementary version, we can think of one party as a subject, the maker of a claim, and the other as an object, the receiver of a claim. So you can give a lot of examples around you of what contention is. So in very simple, understandable understanding of contention is everything that you disagree and then you make claim out of it. It's has the notion of contention. Collective action, the second character, it refers to coordinating efforts on behalf of shared interests or programs. Football teams, for example, engage in collective action, but so do churches, voluntary association, and neighbors who clear weeds from vacant lot. When you go to school or to work for a big company, you enter an organization that is carrying on collective action. So collective action basically is the action that you and some other people takes collectively together, right? So if you have this initiative to, like for example, have this noble idea of cleaning the beach, for example, pantai, yeah, you may gather some friends and then you make the action together to clean the beach, ambil sampah-sampah, for example, or clean the area around your neighborhood. That is a collective action. Yeah, so it's very simple to understand what collective action is. The bulk of collective action takes place outside contentious politics. Okay, most contention also occurs outside politics, but what is politics and what is political? And that's the thing that we go on the third character, politics. Okay, you studied politics and what the definition and sorry. Huh? Can I just selesaiin sebentar? Okay. Okay. All right. So politics, we enter the realm of politics when we interact with agents of governments, either dealing with them directly or engaging them in activities bearing on government's rights, regulations, and interests. Okay. Can you guys hear me now? I think I somehow I got hello guys, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so I think it's a connection. I'm sorry for that. So where was I?
Politics.
Where was I?
You were explaining about politics.
What was the last thing I said to you? Police?
Meaning of
Is it?
politics, ma'am.
Okay, so okay, I'm not that far. All right, so I'll share the screen again. Where is it? Okay, here. All right. I'm sorry for that. Really sorry because this is the internet connection. I'm actually in our uni in campus, so I don't know what went wrong. Usually it's very good. Okay, so I was here. Like I was trying to explain you the politics, the elements of politics in contentious politics. So we've covered the 3 elements of it. And then also in the book, it mentioned what contentious performance, contentious repertoires, contentious campaigns. I could just share you the chapter and you can read on that, the particular chapter. We didn't require you to do the critical review for that, but it actually, I think, the one that you reviewed and this other part, it's much better. I mean, it's better if you can read both. It connects to one another, but you don't really have to do a critical review on that. So what I would like to explore more is actually what your readings from the chapter that we gave you. It's from Sidney Terrell's book, chapter 1. I'd like to actually know more of what is contentious politics. How do you understand contentious politics from that particular reading, and what are the basic properties of social movements? I mean, Terrell speaks a lot about that on the earlier part of the chapter, and then he also outlines briefly the differences between Marx, Lenin, Gramsci, and Tillis in regards to social movement, how they understand movement. Yeah. And then also he outlines the classical theories that influence more recent theories of social movements. And I'd like to explore more from you. What are they? The more recent theories of social movements, and then how does Terrell synthesize all these theories, old and recent? So because I think Bang Ren is taking over from here in short time, so I will how do I do it? Because actually I need also you to exercise this. So, all right. So here's what you're going to do individually, okay? For the asynchronous part of your study this afternoon. Based on the explanations of these three elements of contentious politics, I'd like you to reflect on a social movement that took place some years ago in the US by a student. It's a student movement, yeah. It's called Me Too. And then I'd like you to reflect on these movements and try to outline these elements in your reflection. Okay. And also, I'd like you to discuss this in the asynchronous group discussion in Leads account. Yeah. So this one you can do by groups. Yeah. And you will do it in the next 1 hour. Okay. And this one you do individually, and you can submit your reflection at the latest, okay, by midnight. All right. All right. Did I make myself clear? Anyone has questions or stuffs to discuss?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yes.
I didn't get it.
Okay. So your task after this is two things. One, satu, secara kelompok
Yes.
dijawab pertanyaan ini, ya.
Okay.
Ini kalian bisa kerjakan after the class. So after Bang Ren finished his part, setelah Bang Ren selesai, 1 jam kalian bisa bahas ini di grup, ya. And then write it down in leads discussion, di ruangan leads, ya. And then the other task, tugas lainnya adalah kalian nonton ini, ada linknya di sini. Lalu setelah nonton, saya minta kalian identify 3 elemen ini di dalam gerakan tersebut. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Is that clear enough?
Yes, ma'am. I get it.
Okay. For the second task, the due date is midnight. Okay, malam ini ya, tengah malam. Okay.
Okay.
And this second part, I will treat this second part as quiz. Yeah. Jadi we don't have pre-test or post-test or quiz for today, but I want to check for how bagaimana kalian berproses dalam hari ini, dalam kelas hari ini, dari refleksi kalian terhadap kasus dengan melihat pada 3 elemen ini. Oke. Jadi kita tidak ada pre-test dan post-test untuk hari ini, tidak ada quiz, tapi tugas kalian yang ini, yang individual, akan saya perlakukan sebagai quiz. Okay? Did I make myself clear? Sudah cukup clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Great.
Bu Ayu,
So,
saya
yes.
mau nanya,
Yes.
ini kumpulinnya di mana ya? Di
In Leads. We're no longer using the e-learning 4.0. We're using Leads now.
Tengah malam ya, Bu?
For the individual task, yes, midnight, by midnight. For the group task,
Okay, thank you.
only 1 hour, okay? It's actually not that difficult. All right? Begitu, Kartini? Okay, great.
Iya,
Any
Bu.
more question? Loud and clear. Good. Okay, Bang Ren, are you here? Can I hand it over to you? Bung Ren? Bung Ren? Ren?
Sorry,
Halo.
gue masih mute ternyata. Bentar ya.
Ren, can I give it to you now? Can I hand it over to you?
Hello. Sorry.
Yes. Can I hand it over to you from here?
Yes, I will, I will try. So, all right.
Okay. I'll leave the room open. Let me know if you finish so
Yes.
that I can turn the
Okay, so-
recording off.
All right. So,
Thank you
am I
so
gonna
much,
be
Ren.
the host or what? So
All right, I'll make you the host, yeah? Hold on.
yes, please.
Hold on.
Let me check. Let's try to get a bit quick about this.
Yes. And actually, since you are the host now, Ren,
Yeah.
you can turn off the recording when you finish. So I don't have to do it.
Alright.
You can.
Okay. I'll just help. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Ren. Thank
Let
you,
me.
everyone. I'll see
Yeah.
you next week.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
So hi everyone. Hope you can hear me well. And so the session that I will do today, I mean this afternoon, is to prepare you for your group presentation. So I believe that you have your group ready, and then what we need to do this semester, we try to teach you about how to present your research based on digital research. So basically, this is a good exercise for you if you want to be a researcher in the future. What's the process and how to do it, and you can learn a lot from this. And I think this is very new, and I don't know if any other class have done this before, but what I want you to do, so we have I think from now until let me have a look first. I think we have like 16 classes, and now the second class, so 16. So we have like at least 9 classes before you start presenting your group presentation. So what I want to do this afternoon is to give you an overview of how to conduct a research and presenting it. So normally if you have a like group presentation, maybe you do it in a group, but you do it like, okay, I'll do the paper and I'm present it whenever the time comes. But in this class, we try to change the habit. We try to plan our research before we present it. That's basically what we're doing at the moment. So how do you plan your research? In, let's say you have 9 weeks, and then what you do based on week by week before you present your paper. So that is what we want to do today. So is everybody follow me, or do I speak too fast, or is that clear? Hello?
Yes, clear, sir.
Yeah. So
Everything's clear.
so the idea is, as a group, I want you to work together, not rely on one person, but work together and learn together as a group. And then you try to develop and present your paper as as good as possible. So if you can do it better, you can, if you prepare it in a good structured way, I think you can present it better in the week 12, 13, and 14, I think. So beware that we will start to evaluate your work based on a weekly basis. All right. So I will share the PowerPoint, last PowerPoint, I think I present a PowerPoint about ethnography to you. I think so. Okay, this is it. So you all can see this is what ethnography research. So we have like 5 processes that I want you to follow the processes and then working on this, building your research based on these 5 steps. You can't jump from one process to the next to the skip one processes. So I want you to follow each processes and then plan your research. So we have research focus, community identification and selection, engagement, analysis, and present findings. So I think Ayu has explained about this. So the first one is about the research focus, what you do in the first week, I think. So after this, you start to work with your friend as a group, and then start thinking about what sort of research that you want to conduct and present in front of the class. So you think not just the bigger pictures, but also what is the specific research questions that you would like to ask about particular social movement in Indonesia or around the world. It's up to you. So think why this particular social movement is important, what is that you want to know about it, and then later how you can present it. So this is the first thing that you need to think with your friend as a group, and then come back again next week and let us know. I have the research questions, and then I have the why we ask this specific research question. So I think this is the hardest part of the research, because then you start thinking about the spectrum of your research. And the second one, I don't know why it's this one. Okay, second one, you talk about when you decide what is your research focus, and then you have to learn how this research focus, because you're using ethnography, meaning you work through the digital information, digital data, based on the digital. So you have to learn whether or not this particular social movement that you want to present, they have like online community or not, what sort of environment and culture that they have in there. So you have to be very, very careful on selecting your target, and then learning about their online community, what sort of culture do they have there, and then how do you choose your data. For instance, am I going to news portal? Am I going to websites? Am I going to Twitters? Am I going to other particular what do you call it, social media platforms or whatever? So you gotta choose, and then you gotta think about this, and then discuss about it, and then you have to make sure that you have enough data for your research. And then, of course, after you examine your data resources, the most important thing you have also, you need to read what sort of literatures that already out there, because then you can start thinking a good research is if you can put a new space for the other academic works. So if someone have wrote something about it, maybe you don't do the same thing. You gotta find something that new and interesting to the academic work. So that's the stages. And then all right, this is again, oh, this is going back again. And then after that, then you oh, this is wrong. but that's okay. I'll just explain. So, and then after that, you do your analysis and then your interpretation about the data. So I think I will help you on this later. But the first thing today that I want you to give us is how you present later your data in a readable data and very convincing to your friends. And this is some ideas that me and I already think that you might interested with, but you can always find other than this. So in right base here, you see there's a union or labor movement, peasant or farmer, urban poor, youth or student, women, LGBTQ, indigenous peoples, identities or minorities, environment, right base, corruption, and so on. So you can choose from this, or if you have something that you think more interested for you, so just feel free. But what I want you to do is plan your research. So each of you who have this, I don't know if you can choose now. You can just start. Give us your selection. But if you, I think you can do it also later after the class finish. But what I want you to do is to plan your research and then do it week by week, and then give us your planning. So for instance, week 1, I want to do my, based on the planning, I want to start the research focus. I want to, the deliverables for research 1 is to find the research questions. And then you send us to us your research focus, and then why you choose that focus. And then week 2, maybe you start to identify the community and the selection, and then let us know, I want to choose this particular community, and then this is the size of the data that possibly we can have. For instance, they have the website, they have the communities, they have the groups, and I will join them, and then how you join them, etc. And then the week 3, I will start to engage with them, and then I will start to collect the data. How are you going to connect the data? Are you using the machine, or you do it manually, or you start talking to them, etc., etc. How many weeks do you need for data collection, and then how many weeks do you need for start to analyze the data, and then make sense of the data and reporting, and before you presenting. So that is all that I want you to think and then to do at the moment. If you have any questions, feel free to ask now, and because after that, I think what you need to do is to start talking with your friends about this. Is that clear? Hello?
Excuse me, sir. I want to
Yes.
ask question.
Yeah.
Me and my group had choose the issues. The issues is Malari tragedy. But
Malari. Okay.
yeah.
So this is student movement, yeah? In
Yes.
1974. All right.
The question is it possible we only use the data karena kan kita nggak ada di zaman itu, jadi apakah mungkin kita hanya menggunakan data-data yang sudah ada atau penelitian-penelitian yang sudah ada sebelumnya, begitu, sir?
Yeah. So this is a good question. So before you conduct your research, you have to think about the size of your data, how many data that you can get from the digital space. If I ask a question, do you think that malaria, how do you get your data? I think you think from this for conducting this research, where do you get the data from in digital space? If you
Bisa
can imagine.
ya. Bisa dari jurnal-jurnal atau apa dari laporan-laporan seperti misalnya teman saya sudah bilang bahwa dia punya salah satu edisi majalah Tempo yang berfokus untuk membahas peristiwa malaria ini. Itu sih. Mungkin dan beberapa data-data lain dari sumber-sumber pemerintahan kredibel yang ada atau dari jurnal atau karya tulis lainnya gitu.
Yeah, the problem with that is, yeah, I don't think you can get any sort of debates or what do you call it? The thing about ethnography, you are doing the digital data that possibly out there, and then ethnography actually is the extension of ethnography in the real traditional research. The ethnography, you look for a particular environment or specific places, and then you can observe them. And then the tricky part of your selection is because I don't think you can get any observation from your research unless you can sort of I don't know, is there any conversation about malaria movement at the moment, or is there any sort of forum or debates around it, or basically just use the how you call it, the data from library or portal news that you mentioned before. So that's all. So I don't know if it's a good you might have problem on choosing choosing what you are going to observe, basically, because ethnography is about observation. You observe and then you engage, and then you look particular things that happen around the issue. So I would suggest you to and your group to find or expand it more into maybe broader student movement, probably, I don't know, but you will have problem in presenting that in ethnography type of research. That's what that's what I think. What do you think? You just talk to your friend and then see if you can see if you think you can sort of change the still in student activism, but change not only 1974. Maybe you can connect it to other student movement 1998 or the reformasi di korupsi or whatever that, or the more present student activism. I think so. Yeah, that's maybe that's the best way. Yeah.
Oke, begini, sir. Sebenarnya saya sendiri udah tahu bahwa kalau kelompok kami memilih peristiwa yang sudah terjadi dan hanya mengandalkan data, ya kita tahu bahwa konklusi atau kesimpulan dari peristiwa ini kan sudah ada versinya. Jadi ya kemungkinan kelompok kami akan ganti kasusnya ke kasus-kasus yang yang baru-baru terjadi ya, seperti apa reformasi di korupsi itu bisa sih, bisa.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a wise decision, I think. Yeah. Anyone who wants to give a comment or questions? If you already have your own topic, maybe you have a question how to conduct it and how to get the data, how to process it, just feel free. Because
Sir,
yeah.
Saya bertanya, mau nanya, misalkan kan saya ngambil urban poor, kan di sini baca yang udah dijelasin etnografi itu kan bagaimana cara kita melakukan peneliti tapi based on datanya dari internet. Misalnya saya pengen neliti tapi gak cuma dari based on internet, karena kebetulan saya juga tahu beberapa tempatnya dan bisa saya datangin langsung. Itu kayak gimana? Boleh atau tidak?
Boleh. That's okay. It's okay. But what we need you to remember about ethnography, you should base on the digital conversation. So if you want to confirm, that's okay. But that's the ethnography type of research. But if you want to combine it, that's fine. Meaning you can sort of get what sort of conversation out there in a digital space, and then you can go there and then to confirm whether or not I don't know, maybe whatever you want to confirm from your sources. Okay, Rido, all good?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Anyone who wants to ask or okay, no more?
Satu lagi, sir. Masih apa tentang kasus ini? Misal nanti ya kami jadi memilih kasus reformasi apa di korupsi. Jadi apakah bisa kan apa ya, banyak di antara teman-teman mahasiswa juga yang ikut tergabung dalam aksi itu. Jadi kita rencananya apa ya, kayak ingin menggali informasi melalui interview gitu, apakah bisa, sir?
Yes, you can, but I don't think it is necessary. So this is the thing. So what you want to try to learn this semester is how to process the data in digital space. So if that's the case, then you have to think, you and your team, to get how to get data from the digital world. So less about how to interview people from whoever who involved in that particular event. It's not because they are not important, but what we are doing now in this class is try to exercise our other skill of conducting research online. So whatever that you use in this face-to-face interview, you can only use it as a secondary data. So it's not your primary. Your primary will be in the digital space. So whatever that you can grab from, maybe, I don't know how you're gonna do it. Maybe you will get like Twitter account from particular time. Let's say one month reformasi di korupsi from this month to that month, and I will use the hashtag. I will get all the hashtag and start reading it, and then start interview people based on that thing. You know what I mean? So it is different from the traditional ethnography. So this is an ethnography you base on the digital data. what you need to think is actually, where is the data? How to source the data? And then how to process it. So that's another skill that you need to master with your friends, because then it's also have its own how you call it, intricacy or difficulties. So it's different. I would say you don't go to your friend and start interview them, because that's not gonna how you call it, help you with presenting your data about ethnography. So just like Rido, I said, you can go there, but that's not it. That's not ethnography. You start thinking about the online data, and then start to think about how to process them, how to source them, how to process them.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Anything?
Sir?
Yeah, Andrew. Andrew or who? Rido. Silakan.
Untuk pemrosesan data tuh kita pakai program kayak R program atau SPSS, atau boleh nggak sih kita pakai cara penampilan data yang sederhana aja, kayak kita nampilin chart sederhana gitu aja, atau emang kita harus pakai SPSS atau R program, sir?
Actually, it is really depends on your group. If you can do the R program, or you can do like SNA types of more sophisticated presentation, that's fine. But if you can only do a simple thing like Excel program or just the Word programs, that's fine as well. The most important thing is how to transfer your findings from the internet into a readable or readable data that you present to your friends. So it's fine if you do it in qualitative ways, not always like quantitative. It can be also qualitative how you call it, process. So don't worry about the I have to master a particular how you call it, program, R or Python or whatever. Maybe you are not there yet, that's fine. The most important thing is you and your friend exercise how to read data. To read data, you need to collect your data, filter it, make it into a more how to select them, and then from there how to analyze them. So that's all the thing that you need to exercise first. Less about their program. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So anything yang ini mau bicara lagi? Bahasa Indonesia boleh?
Bapak, saya mau nanya.
Ya.
Untuk yang ide ini tuh nanti tugasnya untuk kapan ya, Pak?
Hijau.
Untuk yang ide ini, pengumpulan tugasnya itu kapan ya, Pak?
Oh, kalian ada di kelas, kalau nggak salah itu 12, 13, 14 ya. Ada tiga kelas itu. I don't know ada ini kamu akan dapat kapan, tapi ada di minggu itu, minggu ke-12, ke-13, ke-14. Jadi yang penting itu adalah kamu dengan grup mulai dari sekarang memikirkan dan membuat perencanaan. Saya akan presentasi misalnya di minggu ke-13. Kamu hitung mundur dari minggu 13 ke sekarang, kalian ngerjain apa per minggunya. Itu yang harus diserahkan ke saya dan Ayu minggu ini. Jadi minggu pertama, planningnya seperti apa? Minggu pertama saya mau bikin, research question-nya dulu. Sort of why I want to do this, why this labor movement, what particular labor movement, what is the research question, kayak gitu dulu. Itu minggu pertama. Minggu kedua aku akan cari kemana saya mau cari. Misalnya aku akan pergi ke serikat buruh. Oke, serikat buruhnya di mana? Apakah dia nasional, apakah dia tingkat publik, atau tingkat apa? Oke, dari situ kemudian apalagi yang harus dari sana? Oke, percakapannya apa aja? Isunya apa aja? Oke, itu berapa minggu itu untuk menyiapkan itu. Kemudian mengambil datanya berapa lama. Jadi, all the planning sampai kalian presentasi. Itu yang harus kalian selesaikan minggu ini. Kalian harus berikan ke saya dan Ayu. Jadi sebelum minggu depan nanti saya akan bicara sama Ayu kapan kalian harus selesaikan itu. You finish that, you do your planning, and then ya udah execute your planning gitu. Jadi what we want you to have at the end of this term, you have a skill to conduct research, constructed research, ya, based on ethnography method. Gitu kira-kira, Astin.
Oke, Pak. Terima kasih.
Ya. Oke, ada lagi? Ada lagi nggak ya? Oke, kalau nggak ada, I think all clear ya. So I want you go to your group, talk about this, make your plan, make a you make it like a chart of what to do from now until your presentation time. So let's say you have 9 weeks to present your paper together, right? So you make your planning from week 1 to week 9, what you are going to do, and then how you're going to execute your planning. And then we will have evaluation every week about your planning. Is there any change from the first time you make it or not? So the idea of this class is I don't want you to just like a normal class that you have your group tasks together, but then only some people who work on the group, or probably you only do it in the last minute. We don't want you to do that, because from that from what I know, it's not going to help you with anything. It's not going to you are not going to learn anything from that kind of process. So I want you to learn how to conduct research in a proper way. That way, maybe some of you who wants to use this kind of a method, you can develop it. You can use it for your own for your life. Okay, so that's all that I think. At the end of this class, I mean, at the end of this term, you will have that skill. You will need it for, I don't know, your final paper, maybe when you want to finish from this university. All of that you have to learn from now, and because that's the skill that you need it for the rest of your life, how to plan and then how to execute your plan. So I hope it will help you, and then also I hope that we can learn from each other. So that's all. And this is a very new, exciting area, the digital and everything. This is your time, and then you start to embrace it, and then do this kind of exercise more in your life. All right, so I think Ayu was asking me that after this you have your like 1 hour, what was it? You will have like 1 hour working together. Is that correct? Hello?
Yes, sir. We have
So they
group
said like
task.
you have the group discussion, for secondary literature for 60 minutes. So I don't know how are you gonna do it here in this Zoom meeting, or you do it separately? I'm not sure about the arrangement though. So let me ask Ayo. How are you gonna do it? Any ideas?
Izin menjawab, Sir.
Ya.
Oke, biasanya untuk grup diskusi ini kan apa ya, dikenal dengan metode asinkronus. Jadi yang sinkronus atau yang Zoom ini diselesaikan, terus kemudian ya grup itu melakukan diskusi, Sir.
Thank you, Andrew. So that's good. So I'll leave it there. So maybe if there's no more question, yeah, we'll see you next week. Yeah. So just make sure that you and your friend have your plan together, okay? Because we're not gonna tolerate if you don't have any plan for next week. Okay, so that's the end of it then. Okay, selamat sore, selamat berdiskusi sesama grup ya. Oke. Saya close ya, saya end ya recording dan ininya ya.
Oke, Sir, thank you, sir.
Oke.